Good morning, everyone. I'm Julie Livingston of Want Leverage Communications, here for another edition of PR Patter, my semi-weekly show where I chat with the amazing people from across my public relations and marketing network. I'm really excited today to welcome my guest, Morrie Kolman. Morrie is a creative technologist from New York City, and he's worked with every side of the internet, from making viral websites, posting content with millions of views, running ad campaigns for major brands, creating memes, which is our topic for today, and more. So a lot of people have asked me how we came up with the word meme, and I looked it up, and it actually comes from the Greek word meme, mimema, meaning that which is imitated. Did you know that, Maury?
Yeah, my meme is from mimesis.
Okay.
Mitosis is how two things split apart. Mimesis is the copying of something, and also this is one of my big nerd outs is like about the origin of the term meme. It is also in mild reference to the French meme, which is about
Oh,
memory.
very cool. Okay, that's great. So, Maury, tell us a little bit about your backstory and how you kind of got, kind of where you went to school. I want to hear a little bit about that thesis that you did,
Mhm.
which is related to our topic today, right? Your senior thesis.
Yep.
And tell us how you got into creating memes and other things.
Sure. So I kind of grew up with the internet, right? I got my first computer when I was, I think, 11 or 12. Immediately used it to start surfing the web. And then over the course of the next several years of my life, kind of I started to exist online in different places, right? I had a Facebook, I had a Tumblr, etc. And I saw that, these metrics that you could see on your posts, you could kind of influence them in one way or another if you figured out what to post, right? Or what people wanted to see. And so I really got my start, making kind of pretty mediocre memes for my old high school debate, my old genre of high school debate back in high school, and and that was the first page. And then in college, I made another one, and I grew that to about 40,000 followers or something. And then I decided to end up writing my thesis on one for my senior thesis.
And what was the topic for that?
It was basically it was the kind of cultural history of memes and how it relates to socioeconomic factors in play in the past 20, 40 years. So why this specific visual format in this specific, political milieu?
I love the title of it. I just have to share it. I have no mouth and I must meme.
Yeah.
Internet memes, network neoliberalism, and the image of the economic, and then it dropped off. I don't know what the last word is, but
No, I think that's it. Yeah.
oh, okay. And the image of the economic. Anyway, just so fantastic. So you sure know how to grab attention. That we know, right?
I try.
Um, and I also want to talk about your most recent publicity stunt, which I think is brilliant. Trafficcamphotobooth.com. And then we'll get back to memes. So tell us about that. I loved it.
Oh, well, first of all, yeah, thank you for checking it out. That's been a real whirlwind. Trafficcamphotobooth.com is a fun and engaging way to talk about a very serious topic, which is surveillance. And the reason it's fun and engaging is because the main function of the website is that it allows anybody in New York City, but also now in Georgia, Minnesota, and Maryland, as well as new states coming, to take any traffic camera that they can see and turn it into their own personal photo booth and use it to take selfies, use it to take film strips, etc.
It's great. So really, what I'm hearing from you and what I've read about memes is that you're kind of blending, you're making a statement by creating something clever and humorous.
Yes, exactly. And honestly, I see websites like Traffic Cam Photo Booth as just, I don't see them as different from memes at all. I see them as like a more elaborate form of meme making, right? Because if you think about what kind of the main meat of a meme is, right? It's a shared cultural experience around a specific remixable thing, something that can have infinite variations, right? And for meme formats, That's obviously very easy, right? You have meme formats like, like lolcats, or like the guy looking back at the girl. And in this case, for Traffic Cam Photo Booth, the format is the film strip that you get, or the kind of Polaroid that you get at the end,
Right.
where it's just that variation on the common theme of surveillance and I guess things that mimic physical media.
Now, memes fit in with a very specific kind of marketing or public relations campaign. Is that right?
Yes, though I do think that they're specific, but they're often broader than you think. I think that everybody online consumes some form of memes, which means that there is no such thing as a brand whose audience would not be amenable to them. It's just thinking about which type of meme or which type of repetitive online content your audience likes.
Okay, so you really need to know your audience.
Yeah, completely.
So how do you work with you've been in the corporate sector, you've been on your own. How do you work with clients to create a meme? Like what's the first step in terms of like meeting with them? I don't know. There must be some kind of a brainstorm session. Tell us about that.
Sure. So I think,
Because, well, I just want to back up a second.
sure.
I'm asking you that question because I'm a publicist. Um, I think a lot of people like me would love to have a meme in their back pocket, in their public relations toolkit or marketing toolkit, but they may not be sure how to get started. So that's why I'm asking you about the process to create one.
Mhm. Sure. So I think a couple big things that I think are important, especially at the beginning of some kind of meme campaign, is one, obviously, just figuring out what we want to be communicated, right? Is it the specific value prop of a product? Is it a comparison of you versus a competitor? Is it more of like a brand like vibe thing that you're going for? One, for example, like Duolingo, good example of like a place that kind of talks about their product, but also just kind of wants to cultivate like a brand image. Whereas something like Slim Jim, uh, weirdly enough, there's a bunch of memes on Instagram. They're all about Slim Jim's products, and they just shove it in there. So that's one thing. The other thing that I think is often really important is, again, kind of like we talked about earlier, just getting a really good sense of the customer. And honestly, sometimes what I ask brands to do is I'll say, why don't you like walk me through where you do your customer research, right? Like, where do you go online to see like what your customers are, where are they? Are they on, are they on Facebook? Are they on Instagram? Are they on Discord? Are they on Reddit? Are they on Depop? These different places that exist that, people congregate that are normally pretty good cohorts of what different brands are trying to target. And I'll just have them show me like what people are, organically posting, and then how we can start thinking about that to integrate it into some form of meme.
That's very cool. So there's a lot of research involved and a lot of thought and research involved in really coming up with this concept.
Yeah, though I think that one of the big things that is tough, especially as like a meme maker that works with brands, is that the research and the kind of ideation and the almost feel that you need to have for memes takes a lot of work and is the product of like many years of experience. But then on the other side, the output looks like, oh, you made a meme. Like, this is something I see on the internet that I see hundreds of these a day. Like, why? Sometimes it's hard to justify the budget needed to like get a higher success rate with good memes rather than just kind of pawning it off to some intern. But that's just the name of the game as a freelance creative.
Well, it's part of, if it's a serious part of your marketing toolkit, you'd want to make it look good and be in alignment with your brand.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the other thing is, I think some brands can be a bit precious sometimes with where they use memes or how they use memes. In my experience, I used to work for a political communications firm called Task Force, and there we made a lot of memes for a lot of progressive organizations. And back then, this was like in 2020, and it's kind of changed a bunch since. A lot of these organizations would ask for memes about, gun control, immigration, abortion, et cetera, serious topics, but, memes that were on their side and that they could use to, like, uh, interact with young people online. And so I would make them hundreds of these things. And the vast majority of them would never get posted because they were like, oh, we can't joke about this thing. We can't, even
Right.
though it's like a joke on their side, it's like, we cannot, this is this is not a topic that we can bring humor to, which if you look at now, where a lot of the huge swing for current political campaigns is going, obviously Trump in 2016 and 2020 had a huge meme boost, but also by Kamala's team kind of leaning into the meme game finally, she's soared in popularity, and Kamala Brat Summer was all over the news.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, do you think do you think that one of the underlying factors in the success of a meme is how far it can push the envelope?
Um, in certain cases, yes, I'd say that's one thing that could make a meme do well. I would not say that like, you need to push envelopes to have memes that are effective. There's also, if you want to talk about another function of creating memes, there's creating memes to go viral, and then there's also creating memes to create a sense of community, right? Most memes will not go viral, but if, for example, you have some group where you have a bunch of your customers, or you have some email list serve or something, and you're able to kind of repetitively push some, phrase or idea or funny picture that you just continue riffing on over and over, that's basically a meme. And B, that also kind of creates a sense of community because the people that you're sending it to either might start riffing on it on their own, or also at the very least know that, like, oh, because I understand this reference, I can identify with this group of people. And that group of people happens to be your customer base.
Right. And so for a meme to go viral, what are some of the things that have to kind of be in alignment or coincide? I mean, is it the fact is it that you want people to adapt the meme and kind of make it their own and add to it, or?
So I think there's a difference between a meme going viral and a meme template going
Okay.
viral. There are a lot of memes that go viral these days aren't necessarily like super templatey, like in terms of like putting one thing over another. A lot of
Right.
times a meme is just a screenshot of a Twitter post, right? And I think in those instances, when we're not talking specifically about templates, I think a lot of it is just kind of like Freud says humor is the shattering of expectations. So, I mean, something like something unexpected that could be envelope pushing, that could also just be a funny joke. If it's a template, I think it's more about how does the scene happening in this template, right? For example, the famous one of the guy looking back at the girl, while his sensible girlfriend is looking next to him, shocked. Like, how many different relationships between things can be represented here, right? And for the guy looking back at the girl, again, it's great because it's anything that it's just the grass is always greener, right? You just want something else instead of the thing that you currently have. I think also, it's a lot of times it's like a matter of topicality or just recency in the news cycle. Obviously, being able to hit on new breaking things is really important for memes. But the other thing that I think is really important, that is something I didn't really internalize until I made 2,000 memes, is that virality is not an event, it's a rate. And what I mean by that is that it's not a matter of making the perfect meme that will go viral, because I've had, TikTok videos that I spent hours on that got, 20 views. And then I've had ones that I, took 5 minutes on that have gotten 10 million. It's just a matter of posting and creating content. And I found that the rate is normally like around 2%, which is not something you want to hear as a marketer. You don't want to hear like,
Right. Right.
that is unfortunately like, but you can create virality at scale. You just have to be aware that the hit rate of that scale will be 2%. And hey, if you do that 600 times, you'll have 12 things that go viral, which is pretty good.
Yeah, that's great. Right. So you have to know that when you're investing in a meme, it may have a certain amount of success or not.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, even just the last week or a couple of weeks ago, I reposted a video that got, I think, 10,000 views on my TikTok, and it blew up to 2.3 million on my Instagram. And
Woo!
I'm sure if I just reposted it again somewhere else, it will either get 5,000 or 3 million. Right? There are so many external factors to virality. The only thing that you can control is the content itself. You can't control how people react to it. You can't control, the weights that the algorithms give those people and their specific different reactions. And you can't control which feed they go on afterwards. So,
Well, you can control the timing of it.
yeah, yeah. So make that two controlled variables in the sea of other ones. In terms of timing, I've always kind of just gone with like early afternoon. But I think the easiest way to figure out timing is just go into your platform analytics, find out when the most people in your audience are online, then post like an hour and a half before that.
Right. Okay. And of course, timing in terms of what's going on in the world and your industry sector,
Yeah,
in your marketing campaign, you have to figure out kind of the cadence of things, right? When you're going to introduce different components of a campaign.
totally.
Um, okay, so my assistant Lisa is on with us, and we're going to attempt to show some of your memes. If we can't, your website URL where you could see them is here on the ticker. But Lisa, do you want to try to share some? Let's see if this works. Well, I don't know. I'm not seeing anything, but I don't know if everybody else can.
I can't see anything either, but
Yeah.
that's fine.
Okay. Well, maybe you could tell us a little bit about some of the memes that you have created. Maybe you could talk about a couple of them, and why they were successful, and
Sure.
kind of how they came together.
Sure. So one meme, it's more of a video. This is one of my biggest early TikTok videos was there. Do you watch Marvel at all?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so you know how Thanos does like the snap. So I saw a tweet from my friend that was just like it was a picture of Thanos doing the snap, and the tweet text was the lyrics of "For the Longest Time," uh, which I was like, oh, I see what's going on here. And so I was like, all right, well, that tweet had like 10 likes, a great example of something that should have gone viral that didn't. And I was like, all right, this is a really funny idea. Let me take this and make it into a video. And so I made a video where I was, you could just see, I was looking around confused, and you'd saw me like, cutting in and out, right? I was there, and then another second I wasn't, timed with the snaps. And then, 10 seconds in, after the audience is sufficiently confused, I cut to me being Thanos with a like face filter that made my face look like him, and just snapping along. Which you see, I don't even have to show you the video for you to understand why that's funny, right?
Yeah.
It's got that shattering expectations. It's got, first of all, what am I even expecting? What's going on here? And then you take two things that hundreds of millions of people know, right?
So there's a familiarity with the character.
Yeah. There's a combining of two really big cultural phenomena, Billy Joel and Marvel. So that was a good one. That was really fun. I also this is one I made for my college meme page, but it was kind of an exercise in taking one thing and shoving it into a meme format of another. But my college meme page was very kind of politics and philosophy focused, because I was a political science major with a focus in political theory. And I took there's this meme format called green text, which is the type of storytelling that they do on 4chan, where it's basically like a bunch of bullets that slowly, in kind of fragments of sentences, spell out an entire story. And I made this meme that it was impossible to post because it was like, 200 wide by like 1800
Right.
long. So it never showed up well. But I was like, let me try to translate, book 6 of the Republic, which is the allegory of the cave. Let me try to translate that into this like kind of, green text format. Let's see if I can retell the story of Plato's cave um, as somebody on 4chan would, and it worked. I liked it. I think it did pretty well. But I thought that it was just a good example of how you can really use some formats, or you can really take anything and put it into a meme if you want to. It's just a matter of figuring out like what you're trying to say, right? If you're trying to say something kind of longer, then you might want to, and if it's almost like annoyingly long, that might want to be like the point, right? Like, um, there are a ton of memes around there about like all the drug side effects that use really small text, or people over explaining things that also use a bunch of text. But there are some times when you can just make things that are simple. And if you can find like a great meme format that shows the relationship that you were trying to communicate, right? Be it, the grass is always greener, or like this person has no idea what's coming, or wow, my life was so much easier after I bought this, or I can't believe I didn't do this sooner. Then you can find that meme template and put your message into it. I think that's like the easiest way to communicate with them.
So what I'm hearing is the very sophisticated way that you're making all of these important connections
Mhm.
with ideas that are floating around in the current political climate or culture, and finding something funny about them, or some kind of clever spin on it, or even bringing to life things that people are actually thinking but may not actually say out loud, and you're creating a meme around that.
Yeah, memes are all about resonance. The resonance between two ideas, the resonance between the meme creator and the meme maker, the resonance between the person that likes and reposts the meme to the rest of their audience, right? They're all about relatability. And what you are trying to do is you're trying to show something to somebody that makes them say, oh, I get that. And I like that I get that. And
Exactly.
I get
Yeah.
that too.
It's remarkable to me. It's just such a clever outlet and such a great way to communicate an idea.
Mhm.
Now, it doesn't work for every campaign.
Yeah. Like, especially like some companies, like some like verticals just work better than others, right? Like Epic Systems is not going to be running a meme campaign. There's
Right.
no need for them to do that. But I'd say that it works pretty widely. It again, it depends a lot on your audience, but if you're trying to sell something to people, not businesses, like anything that's B2C, it has pretty much an opportunity for a meme campaign because you're selling to individuals, and individuals are online. Even like kind of B2B services like a lot of SaaS products are leaning into.
Uh-huh. Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, especially like tech SaaS, mainly because the tech sector is extremely online. But it could work for other things as well. There are a lot of like niche meme pages out there. There's like hospital worker memes. There's marketer memes. There's flight attendant memes, and these are all verticals and cohorts that have decision making power, or have a useful kind of foot in the door of a big industry. And if you could find like almost like an air traffic controller meme page, I'm sure that exists somewhere,
Right.
probably some Facebook group. And if your entire competitive landscape is you and two other businesses that supply some random tech that those air traffic controllers need, and you figure out a way to kind of make the memes and get in there, suddenly you have all the brand recognition, and everybody else is just kind of the boring old guys on the block.
Right. That's so cool. Morrie, this has been such a fascinating conversation. I'm so glad you were able to join me today. And what's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
Um,
Is it on LinkedIn?
Yes, or really anywhere. So on LinkedIn, you can just search my name. I'm Morrie Kolman, MorryKolman. And then anywhere online, I am WTTDOTM. The URL is below. It also has links to me everywhere. But if you search WTTDOTM on pretty much any platform, I will come up.
That's great. All right. Well, listen, I hope you'll come back again sometime. We could continue this conversation about memes.